open access is a publishing practice that really focuses on the accessibility of information. So in 2001, the Budapest Open Access Initiative defined the overarching goal of OA as making research outputs that should be free and accessible to anyone with an internet connection. So really the initial goal of OA was to make scholarly literature more accessible by removing barriers. So that what this ends up doing in turn is it facilitates access, it facilitates the research process and ends up enriching teaching and learning experiences. So open access really focuses on the foundation of two beliefs. The first belief being that knowledge is a public good, and that those folks that wish to access that knowledge should be able to access it freely. But what usually can happen in open access is it can help kind of perpetrate inequities in scholarly discourse. So access to information isn't sometimes the easiest, and can help perpetrate inequities in access, and it can also discourage and exclude certain voices that are not usually found in published discourse. So OA is a broad term that has a few branches, so that includes open publication, open data, and open educational resources.
Can you give us a quick introduction of each?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll start off with open publication. So open publication refers to free and unlimited access to research output. So that can be things like journal articles, books, and theses. So what this really aims to do is it really aims to greatly increase the rate of scientific research. So an example of this would be in COVID-19, at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, the majority of scholarly publishers removed access barriers to articles related to COVID-19. And what this ended up doing in turn was this helped contribute to the rapid development of vaccines. And so the goal of open publication is to expand reader diversity. So you're getting more researchers from a variety of disciplines accessing this content because there's no barriers. And so what this has the potential to do is it has the potential to foster collaboration between researchers in different fields, as well as innovation.
What about open data?
So open data really focuses on fostering transparency and reproducibility, which is a gold standard in scientific research. So this really highlights things like keeping detailed lab notes, using sound scientific methodology, survey equipment, documents, so on and so forth. So really open data is a term, is an umbrella term for all of those things. And it really has a key aspect of being publicly accessible and public perspective. So part of that is usually for grants. The funding comes from federal and provincial public agencies, and as part of a stipulation of that funding is that the research outputs of those projects need to be transparent and publicly accessible.
What is open educational resource? Is it something related to university student textbook?
Yeah, so yes and no. So open educational resources is it's way more than textbooks. It also refers to lesson plans, quizzes, assignments, video tutorials, sound files, really the list goes on and on. So it's way more than just textbooks. And there's a few key defining features of OER, but some of the key characteristics of OER are that they're freely accessible, shared, adapted, and can be repurposed. And they're able to have these characteristics because they can be found in public domain, or they have Creative Commons licenses. So OER and using OER has a long list of benefits, but one of the most prominent benefits is the cost factor. So usually using OER helps lower costs for students, like textbooks costs for students, as well as other costs related to instructional materials for courses. So the Concordia Library has a designated subject guide on open educational resources where it talks about the benefits and how to use them, but also has a myriad of resources that users can search through to find OER for a wide variety of disciplines and fields.